the neurodiversity movement the key to creating a more inclusive and equitable society, or a well-intentioned but misguided trend that could leave vulnerable people behind? There's no easy answer, but together we're going to dive into the depths of this divisive debate. Understanding neurodiversity is crucial for all of us. It impacts how we view ourselves and others. The stakes are high. Getting this right could lead to a more just world, but missteps might further marginalize people and potentially lock people out of services that they so desperately need. And who am I to guide you through this journey? My name is Dr. Salman Aziz Mirza, triple board certified in adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and addiction medicine. And according to some, my ADHD diagnosis makes me not just a psychiatrist, but also a member of their neurodivergent party. The neurodiversity movement is a new way of thinking about brain differences like ADHD, autism, and dyslexia. It says these aren't always problems that need to be cured. They can just be normal, healthy ways some brains work. The idea started in the late 1990s when American journalist Harvey Bloom used the term in an article. An Australian sociologist named Judy Singer used the word neurodiversity during her sociology honors thesis later that year. She wanted people to focus more on the good things about having a brain that works differently, not just the hard parts. Who used it first overall is up for debate, as it appeared online in forums as early as 1996. The online community, as a way of connection, was predicted by advocate Jim Sinclair in his 1993 Don't Mourn for Us speech, where he emphasized that autism was a way of being, stating that it is not possible to separate the person from the autism. Scholar and author Dr. Nick Walker also talks about this idea a lot. She stated in 2014 that all brains are to a degree unique, and that is a natural, healthy, and valuable form of human diversity, when attempting to define what neurodiversity is, and push the idea as a rights movement. A lot of this came as a pushback against Autism Speaks, the largest autism research organization in the United States, which until 2016 had made finding a cure for autism part of its mission statement. When we talk about neurodiversity, we talk about many types of brain differences. Some of the most common are ADHD, a brain difference that can make it hard to focus and sit still, autism, a brain difference that changes how a person talks, thinks, and gets along with others, and dyslexia, or as the DSM-5 would like us to call it, specific learning disorder with impairment in reading, a brain difference that makes reading, well, tricky. And a bunch of others too. Lots of people have brains that work in these ways. Did you know that around 1 in 6 kids has some kind of brain difference like this? That's a lot. So the neurodiversity movement wants us to stop seeing these things as problems. Instead, we can see them as normal, cool parts of how all our brains are unique. We're all a little different in how we think and learn. And that's not bad. It's what makes us, well, us. The neurodiversity movement says people with brain differences have a lot to offer the world. It's not about curing them, quote unquote. It's about seeing how awesome their unique minds can be. Supporters believe everyone has value, no matter how their brain works. We should include and accept people, not leave them out for being different. This fits with the bigger idea of disability rights. Just because somebody's body or brain works differently doesn't mean they should be treated badly. They have rights like everyone else. And guess what? Including people with different ways of thinking can be super helpful. Studies show diverse teams with all kinds of brains are better at coming up with fresh ideas. They solve problems in creative ways neurotypical teams might not think of. Like maybe an autistic person sees a pattern others don't. Or someone with ADHD has a ton of energy to get a job done fast. Having lots of brain means more tools in the toolbox. So neurodiversity isn't saying hire this person even though their brain is different. It's saying hire this person because their brain is different. They'll bring good stuff to the team. The goal is to create a world where everyone feels valued, where we don't assume there's only one right way for a brain to be, where we see the gifts and brains of all kinds. Does this mean there are never challenges that come with being neurodivergent? Of course not. ADHD, autism, and others can definitely make some parts of life harder. But the neurodiversity view says let's focus on positives too, and give people the support they need, not just try to change them. It's about adapting the world to fit more types of minds. Neurodiversity advocates raise compelling points about the unique strengths and inherent worth of neurodivergent individuals. However, as with any paradigm shift, critiques and concerns inevitably arise. While the neurodiversity movement has a lot of good points, not everyone agrees with all of it. There are some big questions people bring up. For example, some worry that calling more things neurodivergent makes it seem like even more people have something wrong with them. Instead of just focusing on the toughest cases, now a broader range is seen as not normal. Is that really helpful? Another concern is that the terms that we use, like neurotypical and neurodivergent, sort of divide people into two camps. It can come across like there are normal brains and then this other group over here. Some think this hurts more than it helps. Finally, a big worry is about resources. If we suddenly say way more kids count as neurodivergent and need extra help at school, will we have enough to go around? Or will the kids who need the most help get less because it's spread thin? It's a tricky balance, and one of the most common laments that I hear from some of the parents of my neurodivergent patients who are more significantly impacted and require much more support, who absolutely hate the movement as they have long waits to access the support if they're even able to get it in the first place. So in the end, it's a complex issue. There are some solid points on both sides. The neurodiversity movement has sparked a ton of important conversations and pushed society to rethink old assumptions. But clearly, there's still a lot more talking and thinking to do to get it right. The neurodiversity movement has had a pretty big effect on how people see brain differences. In a lot of good ways, it's helped folks be more chill about conditions like ADHD and autism. Instead of going, oh no, what's wrong with you? People are starting to be, hey, your brain works a little bit different, and that's cool. Of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Some people worry that as we call more things neurodivergent, we might accidentally make some folks feel more like outsiders. Like if we draw a big line between neurotypical and neurodivergent brains, does that push the neurodivergent peeps into a corner? You gotta be careful not to do that. There's also the danger that if we aren't thoughtful, public perception could swing too far the other way. Instead of seeing neurodiversity as just a normal part of human variety, people might actually start to romanticize it. As a child and adolescent psychiatrist, like many of my peers, we are getting asked almost daily by our patients if we think they are autistic, and in some cases, being presented with arguments for why they must be autistic. Another fear with this is that we start to act like it's always a beneficial thing. The truth is, for a lot of neurodivergent folks, some parts of life can be harder. I'll never forget a patient evaluation where I said, hey, you probably are autistic based on what we've gone over. And the response being, I don't want to be autistic. We shouldn't ignore that in all the excitement. The big hope is that the neurodiversity movement leads to more understanding and acceptance overall. Maybe it helps quote-unquote normal be a bigger umbrella, with rooms for all kinds of minds underneath it. We've still got work to do, but a lot more people are aware of neurodiversity now, and that's a good start. In schools and offices, people are talking more about how to include and support neurodivergent minds. There's still loads of progress to be made, like not enough funding for kids who need extra help. But the ball is rolling. Bit by bit, the world seems to be realizing that brain differences are just a natural part of being human. Pretty cool, huh? In the end, you've got to make up your own mind. Do you think we're on the right track with this new way of thinking, or should we pump the brakes a bit? Regardless of what side of the neurodiversity argument that you land on, we can all help make the world better for neurodivergent folks. It's not that hard. Be kind. Listen. Learn about what they go through. If you hear someone say something mean about ADHD or autism, speak up against that. Educate your children about how some of their classmates may be different, but that doesn't make them less. Little stuff like that matters. Thanks for watching, and if you learned something new, please like and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this. Is it supportive and helpful, or is it just some more politically correct crap we have to worry about to avoid offending the snowflakes out there? Well, I think you can guess which side that I'm on. Until next time, be safe and be well.